Do towerless airports leave pilots flying blind? A number of small airports here in Colorado don't have control towers. And Colorado Springs' newest airline, MaxAir, will be flying passengers in and out of 5 of them. Out of their 7 routes, Durango, Telluride, Gunnison, Montrose, and Hayden are all without towers. That has some people concerned.
I probably wouldn't fly in there without ground control. No, personally, I wouldn't. I'm afraid to fly anyway.
The pilots have enough to do. Yeah, I wouldn't feel so good about flying into an airport without a control tower.
I think they're doing poorly enough as it is. I would not be comfortable with it. They need all the help they can get right now.
Those fears flying high after 2 planes collided on an intersecting runway at a towerless airport in Quincy, Illinois. Yet while towerless does leave it up to pilots to communicate to each other and rely on line of sight, an official with the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, a national advocacy group out of Maryland, says passengers are actually better off.
Every pilot that I know is very alert when going into a non-towered airport. Where some pilots let their guard down a little bit is going into a towered airport.
MaxAir's chief pilot Dave Fagre agrees, saying they are well trained and prepared as regulated by the Federal Aviation Administration.
All the pilots that operate are trained in those procedures. The communications are on a common traffic advisory frequency known as a CTAF, and pilots would be talking to each other as opposed to talking to a control tower like here at Colorado Springs.
Human error is always a possibility, but as with all transport carriers, these Dornier turboprops are equipped with what's called a TCAS system. Now that warns the pilot when there are other planes in the area.
TCAS test.
TCAS, along with other standard features, is enhanced by the plane's handling in mountainous regions, as well as MaxAir's claim to have seasoned pilots.
Pull together, I think, some of the most highly experienced pilots in the Rocky Mountain regions.
Beyond the expertise of pilots, passengers also have statistics on their side. The Quincy crash was the first of its kind in recent history at a towerless airport. Susan Maddox, 11 News.
Is it that easy to find it?
These things, sometimes we're walking in about 1.5 miles into the woods here to kind of a secret favorite spot.
Definitely a journey, setting foot deep into the woods to harvest those few choice mushrooms, a journey that can be hit or miss.
Most mushrooms you see out in the woods fall into the boring, insipid category. They're not going to kill you. They're not going to be delicious.
But finding the few good palatable varieties in Colorado's short foraging season, well worth it.
And then in July, it really starts to happen with porcini mushrooms, otherwise known as the ceps or the Boletus edulis. And then finally, late in the season, the chanterelles are the coveted mushroom.
Matsutake, chanterelle, and porcini to gem-studded puffballs and russulas. Good and bad, the varieties can get confusing. So a good harvest takes a little effort.
Sometimes you have to go to extreme measures to find yourself a good edible mushroom. This one is called an aspen bolete, and you can dry them and use them in a salad. You can make pasta sauce with them, and this one's quite wonderful.
In your search, it's a good idea to be conservative. A bad choice could be your last. You might even consult a book for identification.
So these things really are deadly. There's about 5 different kinds of deadly toxins, in each of which could kill you in and of itself.
Mushroom foraging, somewhat challenging.
It's called an emetic russula, and they will definitely make you sick.
Yet an enjoyable adventure that can be savored all the way to the dinner table.
Believe it or not.
We just had bags and bags and bags and bags.
6-month-old Joshua will never know his brother Zachary, nor will little Callie. At the tender age of 3, curiosity brought an end to Zach's life as he rose from a nap and climbed on a windowsill to peer outside.
And checked on him after 20 minutes and was going to run take a shower because we were going to go see Sleeping Beauty together. And when I found him, he had hung himself with a cord.
A loss so hard to believe, so quick to change the world around her.
And I can remember calling my husband when the ambulance arrived and saying our lives will never be the same.
Completely unexpected, especially when she had taken so many precautions.
And actually moved all the drapery cords away from the beds, and we had put electrical covers on, and literally crawled around the house on your hands and knees.
This is Zach's room. This is where he lost his life.
Kristen found him here during nap time, hanging entangled in the cord of some warm window coverings. Now, she's since replaced those with wood blinds and cut the cords as short as possible. His T-shirts lay quilted as a memory of his short life, a reminder for Kristen that nothing is fail-safe. But she's taken her efforts one step further, clipping the cords on blinds throughout the house, chopping her doors in half, and using a monitoring system. But she says it's still hard to find trust having something so seemingly harmless turn deadly.
A few simple adjustments can make your home safer.